In this video, I will be creating a complete ecosystem for my spotted turtle. I got this really nice rimless glass aquarium from my local pet shop. They did a really good job wrapping it in cardboard so it wouldn't get any scratches or cracks on the drive home. I really like the sleek look of this glass aquarium. It looks nice, clean, and crisp. The first step I did was I went to Lowe's and got some of this pond spray foam. I gave it one more good shake. I used the spray foam to turn this Tupperware into an island. First, I sprayed a little layer onto the bottom part of the glass. Then I pressed the Tupperware right into the spray foam. Then I added more spray foam to the outside of the Tupperware, and this is what's going to create the island effect. I was pleased with how it turned out. Then I decided to use this little piece of driftwood to press into the spray foam to give this island a little bit of texture. I let the spray foam island dry, then I put the aquarium onto its backside and turned it around to face me. Then I started spray foaming the backside of this aquarium to make the background. I decided to incorporate some cork bark into the background, which will also give some nice texture. I just lightly pressed it into the spray foam. Then I flipped the aquarium onto its side. I covered the side with spray foam. By the way, I will not be using the Lowe's brand spray foam anymore. It really doesn't come out good. I like the Great Stuff Pond and Stone spray foam. I added more cork bark to the background. Then I flipped the aquarium to the other side to repeat this step. Here's how the first part of the background turned out with the spray foam. Here is a Universal Rocks rock I had. I flipped it upside down, put some silicone on it, and then pressed it onto the bottom of the aquarium. I brought the aquarium inside, waited 24 hours, and now it's time to start carving out the spray foam. For this step, I used a steak knife. During this step, I pretty much just carved away with the steak knife to try to get as many flat surfaces as possible. When I was spray foaming, a little bit of spray foam got onto the front glass panel, but I just used a razor blade and it came right off. The last part of this step is simply just cleaning the spray foam shavings off of the bottom of the aquarium. Next, I got my silicone and silicone gun. I squirted some silicone all over the spray foam background. Then I placed a little sandwich baggie over my fingers and spread the silicone all over the spray foam. The goal is to have the spray foam completely covered in silicone, every nook and cranny, every surface. I quickly grabbed a bag of cocoa fiber and started sprinkling it all over the background. I completely covered the background with the cocoa fiber till I could not see any silicone or spray foam whatsoever. Then I used my hand to gently pat the cocoa fiber into the background. And I vacuumed up the excess. I flipped the aquarium on its side and repeated this process. And did the exact thing to the other side. I waited a couple days for the background to dry, then I got some Gorilla Glue, some sphagnum moss, and some frog moss to stick to the background. I added little dabs of super glue wherever I wanted to add the moss, then I gently pressed the moss on top of the super glue. I let the super glue dry, then brought the aquarium outside to start spray painting. I'm just using some tin foil to cover the front and top of the aquarium to protect it from getting spray paint on it. I was able to get tin foil on the front of the aquarium, but it was so windy that day I couldn't get the tin foil to stay on the top, so I ended up just grabbing a piece of wood instead. I decided to spray paint the sides and back of the aquarium with matte black spray paint. This will give it the black water aquarium effect. While I was waiting for the spray paint to dry, I needed to figure out what I was going to do with this aquarium and the dart frog enclosures to make room for this upgrade. You can see here, the spotted turtle definitely needs an upgrade. He outgrew this very quick. He used to be tiny in here, and now he's way too big to be in there. In the meantime, I'm just going to stack this enclosure on that one, or vice versa. I don't know, but I got to make room. The spotted turtle tank should take up the left half of this shelf, right here, and then the other half will be taken up by my new dart frog enclosure. I ended up stacking them like this. Looks junky, I know, but it's just temporary. I then cleaned what was under the dart frog enclosure. Then I moved this puppy into the kitchen and made sure the other side of the shelf was clean. I laid down the leveling mat where the aquarium is going to sit. By this time, the spray paint was completely dry. Time to take the tinfoil off. I picked it up, then headed toward my reptile room. Once I got the aquarium in place, I started making a stand for my heat and UVB light. I ended up having to tweak this stand a little bit in order for the lamp to be able to hang from the top. Very simple design, but it will work. I then spray painted it black to match everything else. While that spray paint was drying, I decided it was time to start adding the fluval stratum. This will help the plants grow in this aquarium. Next, I started making sure that my island was fully bioactive by inserting some lava rocks in the bottom and then covering them with a screen. Then I started adding substrate to the top of the screen. I got this little fern at Home Depot, and it's a perfect size for this island. I placed it in the corner and wedged it right in. Next, I started covering the soil with some frog moss, and this will help hide the plastic rim of the Tupperware. The sphagnum moss also helps a great deal. Next, I added a light layer of sand. I used a sponge filter and I just wedged it in behind that rock to hide it. Then I hid the air tube with this piece of cork bark and filled the aquarium with water. By that time, the light stand was dry, so I had to test it out. It ended up working pretty well, not too shabby. In the wild, spotted turtles are typically in bodies of water that are filled with leaves and tannins, so I decided to try to replicate that by adding some oak leaves. I got a couple aquatic plants at my local pet shop to add to the aquarium. Along with some neon tetras. These guys will really pop against the black background. They all came right out except for one. He seemed to feel very safe and secure inside the net, but eventually he made his way out. I then had to catch my albino Cory catfish from the old aquarium and release him into the new one. And I did the same thing with my orange platy. I had to take a look at how the aquarium turned out so far, but there's still a couple things that I need to do before it's complete. I salvaged this pothos from the old aquarium and decided to incorporate it into the new one. I added some sphagnum moss to the water for the spotted turtle to hide in. And I also added some duckweed. It was finally the moment of truth. Time to take my spotted turtle and introduce him into his new home. Welcome to your new fully functional spotted turtle ecosystem. I must say, I'm happy with how it turned out. Now my spotted turtle has much more room to swim around and explore, and can have a lot of fun chasing the fish around. Here I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to hide a filter. You can wedge it behind a rock, use a filter that's the same color as the background. You can't see it whatsoever. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching Tommy's Reptiles.